Okay. Good evening, Madam Taiwo. Can you get me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Can you hear me? All right. Thank you. Okay. So we are a minute to the start of our webinar. Good evening, everyone. Madam Taiwo, please, can you get me? I need to know if you're getting me. All right. Okay. Okay. Hmm. So we're going to wait a few minutes to let people join. If you're already in, please use the chat. Tell us where you're coming from, which country you're from, your name, and what you do. Are you a midwife? Are you a nurse? We'd like to know you more. Thank you. All right. Welcome everybody to this amazing webinar tonight. We're going to be talking about taking action to accelerate your midwifery career and impact beyond the website. This event is powered by Midwife Connect, that means by midwives, for midwives, and with midwives. So during this webinar, expect inspiring conversation, very insightful by leaders, trailblazers, and impact makers across the world. We're going to be, the webinar is going to be segmented into three. In the first segment, we're going to talk about the strategy, setting effective goals and achieving them. In segment two, we're going to be talking about stories of impact with two amazing impact makers in their respective communities. So, in the third segment, we have two amazing leaders, all the way from their respective, midwife association where they lead. And they're going to be talking to us about trends in midwifery and also transitioning into leadership. So if you've not yet, grab a pen and a notebook and get yourself ready to jot down the rich resources and insights that's going to be shared with you. So um, I guess our first guest is already there. Madam Tyro, can you confirm that? All right. While we wait our guests to settle in, please introduce yourself in the comment section. Tell us who you are, where you're coming from, where you're joining us from, and let's just connect with one another. Thank you. Okay. Madam Tyro, please, is our first speaker, keynote speaker, already with us. Okay. All right, I'm seeing the comments. We're having people from Nigeria. Oh, that's great. It's amazing meeting you, Emmanuel. All right. All right, so we have Madam Bettina from Ghana. We have Madam Adiola from Nigeria. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Good to be in to you. All right. So, Yes, the meeting is in progress. Um, Thank you everyone that's joining. Let's keep engaging. If you're joining us right now, please share us your name, where you're joining us from. So while we wait our first guest speaker to settle in, we're going to do an introduction of the initiative Midwives Connect, and for that we're inviting no other than the visionary behind and the co-founder, Madam Taiwo Blessing. Over to you, ma'am. Seems like we're having a lot of technical issues tonight. Um, we're very sorry about that. Okay, Madam Taiwo Blessing is back with us. So, ma'am, we were just introducing you to share with us what was the whole vision behind Midwives Connect and why we are here today. So we'd like to hear from you. Thank you. Hello, Madam Tyro. Can you get us? All right. Seems like we are having some technical issues. We're so sorry about this. Okay. So, what are our expectations from this webinar? I'd like to know from each and everyone what are our expectations for this webinar. If you're just from joining in, please introduce yourself. Tell us where you're coming from. Let's connect with one another. All right.
Fake so that when you are experiencing the examples, you'll be like, what is going on? Am I imagining it, or did it
Can we all hear Madam Taiwo, please? I'd like to get. Oh my goodness, this is horrible. All right, so our guest is already here with us. So for the first segment, where we're going to be talking about strategies in order to take effective goals and realize them, we have no other than Madame Oluwafunke Aringbang Ba, who is originally from Nigeria, and she's a nurse. She pursued her education later in the UK, where she served as a clinical educator later. Today she serves as a mentor. She serves as a woman that's dedicated into empowerment, of the next generation, where she continues to inspire and impact individuals and community. She's equally the founder and CEO of the Skill Sets Consulting, which is an organization, a private training organization that provides mentorship and coaching for personal and professional growth, a freelance training platform that connects trainers with learners and healthcare organizations, among others. So, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation tonight, ma'am. We're so grateful to have you. So over to you, ma'am.
Hello?
Hello, ma'am. Welcome.
Hi, can you hear me? I'm so sorry. I'm in another
Yeah, we can hear you.
location. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, we can hear you.
Good,
Thank you for making
good.
time.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm so sorry. It's been back and forth. Network glitch. Right. Good evening, everyone. I trust you're good. Good evening from Lagos, Nigeria today. Yeah, it's so good to be joining us on this amazing webinar. I don't know if my slide can be projected. I just forwarded it to Miss Taiwo. If not, I
Yes,
would
Miss.
just go through it while I'm on the call. Um,
Okay.
Let me just try and bring it
Mrs.
up.
Madam Taiwo, please can we have the slides?
Mm, so yeah, I mean, I just forwarded it to her, so it might be quite, too sudden for her to project it. So today I'm going to talk about what I call the focus framework, right? The focus framework. And what I, the drive behind the framework is to provide clarity, to provide growth and leadership framework for healthcare professionals, right? Who want and believe more of themselves. Now, the focus around this, we know that it's the beginning of the year, right? And we know that every now and then people always have that adrenaline rush to plan and to build, around the goal that is important to them for the year. But the question is always around not just about building or creating your goals or curating them. It is also about creating a system that allows you to be able to, launch and remain consistent to the goals that you have set for the year. So part of what the focus framework is all about is to actually provide clarity as to what you do and how to bring your goals to life. Can we still hear me? I just need a confirmation because I can only see myself here on the group. So, like I said, this framework focus, FOCUS, is designed for ambitious healthcare professionals who desire career growth progression, leadership influence, financial growth, and purposeful impact without burnout. The framework applies to all healthcare roles. So, whether you're a nurse, a midwife, a doctor, pharmacist, lab scientist, public health professionals, and any allied health professionals, you definitely will find this very useful. Now, when I look at the F, what does the F speak about? The F talks about finding your healthcare niche and professional identity, right? Finding your healthcare niche. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Thank you. Fantastic. Yes, exactly. So I was just talking about the F from the focus. So we're looking at the focus framework. How can I apply the focus framework into my day-to-day goals for the year in my career path? And that's what I'm going to be talking about tonight. So I said F, which is the first letter of the framework, talks about finding your healthcare niche, your professional identity. And when we talk about this, what are we really saying? We're saying, what is that thing that is peculiar to your unique wiring? What is that thing that is peculiar to your personality? What is that thing that is peculiar to your passions and potentials? What is that thing that is peculiar to your strength? Do we see it in that can be translated in your career path that will make you to flourish and thrive so easily? Now, let me give you an example. I work as a clinical educator and I do coaching and mentorship programs, right? Now, how did I find this as something that is what's the word again? That fit into my niche? Because why? I realized that um, from my strength finding assessments, I am someone that is a learner. So I enjoy reading. I enjoy learning new things. I enjoy conversing and communicating and searching through research books and reading and to know more. I just want to know more. Do you see? And then secondly, I realized that I enjoy talking because I'm an extrovert. So I easily would interact with people. I would start a conversation. I can maintain a conversation. I can make people talk and laugh. combining all these together made me realize that this is what I can translate into my career. Now, when I looked at my passion as well, I found out that I love people that thrive. I love people. I love to empower people. I love to see people grow. I love to see people. What's the word? I love to see people, living their potentials. So putting all this together makes me realize that, you know what, I'm a nurse, quite all right, but I wasn't made for the bedside, because if I continue in the bedside, I would not fulfill purpose, because I'm not flourishing or leveraging my strength, passion, potentials, and personality. Then I realized that, okay, that means I need to move into education. And that was how I was able to flourish. That was how I found myself in clinical educator. So the first question is, what are the unique wiring? Right? What are the personality strengths? What are the potentials that you carry? What are those things that is unique to you that can give you a language to where you need to find your niche before then planning around it? So I've written here purpose, career direction, and differentiations, right? Career directions and differentiations. Healthcare offers many pathways. We know that's quite all right. And it's even becoming more diverse. If you look at it now, with the integration of technology, you now see roles that are very powerful, that are very unique. You're seeing things like clinical safety officer. You're seeing AI governance nurse. You're seeing, a midwife, tele-midwife, tele-public health, tele-nurse. Do we see? So there is a lot of roles that are coming up. So the question is, which of these would I function more in? Or which of these am I passionate about as an healthcare professional? So this stage helps healthcare professionals to identify their career niche. Where exactly do you think I would function and I'll be able to maximize my potential in? And how do you discover this? It's as simple as asking yourself, what are the things that have interested you during your course of your health journey? Is it that when you see children, your heart leaps? When you see newborn babies, you just want to carry them, you want to care for them? Or when you see pregnant women, you just want to walk through the journey with them? Do you see? Or when you see things around, public health problems, you want to create research that can bring about cure or that can bring about, healing in that particular problem that you want to, you love to be involved in any public health challenges or problems that we might be facing. Do you see? Or you just enjoy teaching, you love mentoring people. So discovering your unique value within the healthcare system, first of all, is what stands you out for clinical excellence. Yeah, please, next slide. So when you talk about F, finding is you finding your niche and identifying exactly where you would, function in. And I put together some questions that can help us. Purpose, career direction, and differentiation. What are the things that we want to look at? Career direction and differentiation. We want to look at, where do my strengths meet healthcare system needs? Do we see it? I knew that because I enjoy teaching, and that's why you'll probably see me here, because I enjoy teaching, because I enjoy, impacting. I knew that I would function really well as an educator. And then I began to tread on that path. So my question is, what strength do you carry inside of you that would help you to meet, or that would really, be part of the small quarter that you want to give into the healthcare system? What healthcare problem am I deeply drawn to solve? What are the things that when you see it happening in your patients or around you when you're at work, it gives you goosebumps? It makes you just want to take action. It makes you want to even go back and meet the CMD or the matron and say, how can we do this better? What can we do differently in this space? These patients, every now and then, they come in, they're having postpartum hemorrhage. I want us to be able to provide, if some sort of plan around how we can mitigate, postpartum hemorrhage and reduce, death. Do you see? So what are the things that every now and then when you see it happen,
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Madam Taiwo. Looks like we don't have the sound, but we can hear you. We can't hear Madam Funky.
Yes, I think she's having issues with her network. But as soon as I have her back on stage, Awada, she's no longer on stage.
All right. Okay. Let's just then wait a few minutes to join. We're so sorry about this. We don't really have much control over the internet connection these days. So we're going to. I think she's back. Madam Taiwo, can you confirm, please? Is Madam Funky back?
She's not yet back.
All right. Okay.
She's back now, Awada.
All right. All right. Perfect. Then we'll leave the stage.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm really sorry. The network is really, really, really unstable. Very, very unstable. I've never experienced this before, but I'm experiencing it now. So I apologize. I really apologize. It's the location where I am, but we thank God I'm back. So, like I was saying, so what healthcare problems, am I deeply drawn to? What does success look like for me as an healthcare professional? These are questions that help us to really niche down to find out where exactly do I want to stand within the healthcare system, because it is broad, we know that, and we can't be everything. But one of the things that single one out and make you a thought leader, or that makes you a subject matter in a particular space, right, is your ability to niche down and become because can you hear me? I'm really sorry. Hello. I'm so
Yes,
sorry.
you're loud and
Right,
clear.
okay. So clear career direction and professional identity is one of the first thing that we need to talk and look into before we begin to plan and draft our goals for the year, in our career. So the second one from the focus framework is organize. Organize your career, life, and energy. This is one of the most important part of what makes your goals to become achievable and manifestable. Because the truth is, the moment you are not able to put a system around your goals, the moment you're not able to put a structure around what you want to achieve in life, you find yourself just waging over the breeze. You find yourself just, moving around in circles without having a head ahead of you, right? So organize your career, your life, and your energy. And I will tell you why I've put life and energy, because those two things, they are like an inward and a inward current that allows you to really, really maximize and focus on what is of utmost importance to you day in, day out towards your career. And the moment you don't get those things right, you see it affecting your own career as well. So please, next slide. Now let's look deeply into it. Organize your career. What exactly do I need to organize? So we talk about sustainability and balance, right? What is it that I need to put in place to sustain my goals? How many of you can relate that many a times You write out a goal in your career that by so time, I want to have been able to finish this maybe post nursing course or post health professional course or any professional certification by end of the first quarter or the end of the first half of the year. And then just writing it down without actually then breaking it down into a smaller goals to say, okay, so how much do I need to register for this course? How many hours can I put into this course to be able to read for it and pass it? What exactly do I need to put together to be able to ensure that I stick to the time available for me to study and to bring and to pass this course, and to make sure that I come out successfully in it, and to ensure that the deadline that I've put to it, actually I was able to even achieve more before the deadline. But then, because you didn't put all this in place, first half of the year will come, first quarter of the year will come, and you will see that you've not even registered for this course. You will see that you've not even paid for the course. You've not even saved money towards it because you didn't even actually plan the saving part that you want to use to ensure that you save towards it. Am I going to put 1,000 naira aside every month for my salary until when it is so before I pay for it? You see? So that is why organize is really one of the most important framework on focus around how to maximize and fully enter into your leadership role or your career advancement in your profession. Very powerful. And it boils down to the fact that we know how to write goals. We know how to, put our goals down, but we don't necessarily know how to structure it in a way that we can see it happening day after day, and we are getting closer to it every now and then. That is the challenge that we experience. So a lot of times we're actually wishing. We are not actually making move towards the goal. We just wish we want to do this. We wish we have this. I wish by December. That's what you are doing. Because a goal that is written first is actually the first step to take. But it's not just about writing the goals. It's actually creating the system. I know a lot of times people that have met me before would have heard me say it. James Clare will always say it. You don't rise to the level of your goal. You fall to the level of your system. Do you see? So it's not just about putting the goals out there. It's actually about creating the system that allows the goal to manifest. It's actually about creating the structures that you put together and your day-to-day actions and plan that helps you to manifest the goals that you have written of yourself. So this stage focuses on what? Structuring work schedule, your study, your CPD, and your personal life. Do you see? You have to put a structure in place for all these things. You have written the goals. Yes, I want to attend 3 certification by end of December 2026. Beautiful, fantastic, because you already see yourself projected as a thought leader within the space of maybe a sociologist, a psychologist, or whatever. But then the question is, these studies you want to do, these courses you want to enroll for, this certification you want to grab, what structures are you putting in place every single day, every single week, every single month, every single quarter to ensure that you achieve them? So I want you to go back. If you have written your goals and you haven't done this, I want you to go back and look at the goals again. I want to attend 3 courses or 3 certification. My next question is how, when, and what does it require? And I want you to now follow it up closely with your why. Why do you want to attain it? Because without the why, you might not be able to get the what, the how, and the when. Very important. If you don't know the why of a thing, they say when the purpose of a thing is not known, what is it? Abuse is inevitable. If you don't know the reason why you're doing something, most of the time you lose hope, you lose focus, you get discouraged, you get deterred, you get derailed. So what is the why behind what you want to achieve this year? And how do you want to achieve it? When do you want to achieve it? And what does it entail to achieve it? Organize time, energy, and emotions and priorities. Very important. One of the reasons why I said organize your career, your life, and your energy is because, like I said, your energy and your life is the inner current that you need to maintain sustainability of your career. The moment, have you noticed, the moment you are in a particular scenario where you just excuse me, maybe someone annoys you, or you're not just getting along with somebody, or you just had a misunderstanding with someone, have you noticed that at that moment or that particular day, the moment you dwell on it, you find yourself unable to achieve any other thing? You know why? Because your energy, attention flows towards where your energy is, and your energy has been dissipated in that particular situation. So your attention will fully focus on it. And because your energy is in that, it has been dissipated in that situation, and your attention is now flowing towards it, you are unable to see any other thing. You're able to prioritize any other thing that has to do with your career. And that's why you must organize your time, your energy, your emotions, and priorities. You must be, in this year must be the year where you will no longer attach your reward to how people make you feel. Do you see? There must be this internal satisfaction you have about yourself, regardless of where you are in the journey of life, because at the end of the day, the journey is individualized. Yes, the moment you are looking at somebody's achievement as a yardstick for where you ought to be in life, can I tell you, you're already living in the life of that person. You're heading following another person's destiny. You have left your own destiny and you're following another person's destiny. So you must organize your energy and emotions very well for you to be able to sustain your priority. And what would that look like? That would look like, what time do I want to wake up? That would look like, where do I want to spend my time? Who do I want to spend my time with? How much time do I want to have with screen? My screen time, how much do I want to have with it? The people around me, what kind of energy are they bringing towards me? My associations, am I in the right people? Am I within the right space? Am I within the right people that are, giving me good vibes and positive energy and positive emotions? Or are they draining and sucking me? Or are they making me feel less of myself, feel unworthy? Or every now and then when I bring stuff out, they don't really appreciate it, or they make me feel like I can't achieve those things. Those are self-limiting distractions that we might experience around our associations. So you must ensure that you organize yourself out of those kind of people as the year is starting, so that you maintain an energy that brings about sustainability for where you are going and where you are headed. Aligning your career goals with life season, very important. This is very important. A lot of times, have you noticed, when you will see someone, because of a loss of person, and maybe a loss of finances, or a loss of, a winner, that goals that you ought to achieve, the school you ought to finish, everything begins to, fall apart. You have to ensure that it is not about, fine, we've set the goals and we really want to achieve the goals, right? But if life experiences like this happen, what then can I do? Do you see? Should I take a pause? Should I re-strategize? Should I rewind back and move in another direction? Should I slow down a bit and actually, continue with what I'm doing currently and then plan for another time? Do you see it? Sometimes we might not necessarily be able to achieve what we've planned to achieve because of life circumstances beyond our control. But my question is, would you rather focus on what you cannot control or what you can control? A lot of time, what I see happening amongst younger people, especially professionals, is that we focus a lot on what we cannot control. We focus on the exams that we wrote and maybe peradventure we didn't pass it. Please dust it up. Get yourself back together. What did I not do well? Rebook the course. Plan your reading schedule. Look for reading partners. Put all of them together and start all over again. That is what you can control. You can't control the result that has come out. You can't control the friends of yours that is seeing you or perceiving you wrong. Do you see? So aligning your career goals to your life season is also very important. Another thing that this can come as is, maybe for some of us, it might be that, you want to do a course that is going to cost you a lot of money, but currently you know that your salary or your wages cannot accommodate it. My question is, okay, what other similar course that is of lesser, that is affordable within my budget limits that I can write, that I can do, that I can, leverage, that I can learn from? Do we see? So it's not always one-way traffic. You must always find a way to align your career goals to your life season, because without your life season in alignment to your career goals, you might find it very frustrating, very disappointing, very depressive. Do we see? Career direction and differentiation. So key questions that I want us to look at: what work-friendly routines do I need to imbibe this year? Energy recovery strategies. What are the things I need to do to recover my energy back? Resting, meditation. Do you see? Mindfulness, some of those things, taking some time off, walking through the nature, walking in the park, walking on the road, just looking at nature. All those things helps us to regain our energy back. Priority and time management, very key. What are you focusing on this day, this month, this year, this decade, these seconds, these minutes? Your focus. I told my team today, your time is one of the most critical thing about your life, because for every time you live, your life has been spent. Do we agree? Can you go back to your 10 years old if you are 20 years old now? Can you go back to 2025 now that we are in 2026? Can we even go back to the 15th of January 2026? Because today is 16. Do we see it? A part of our life has been spent. For every time we clock a birthday, do we know that we no longer just count that I'm a year older? We actually ask ourselves, how many years have I spent and how many do I have left to spend on? So time is very important in life. Time is the unit of destiny. I told my team today, I said, time will redeem you before, time will reveal you before it redeems you. It will reveal who you are, what you have been spending your time on, what you are focused on, what choices you have made in those timing, what decisions you have taken in those timing, and it will reveal them to the world. So you don't need to, it's just like a pregnant woman. You don't need to tell a pregnant woman she's pregnant when she's at 6 months old pregnancy, 7 months. We can see it already. So don't tell me you are pregnant. That is what time does. It reveals what you have been cooking. So cook well, my dear sisters and brother, if we have one. Boundary settings in the workplace, very important. Not just in your workplace, amongst your colleagues, your friends, your relationships. You have to set all the boundaries. You have to have what is your yes and what is your no. And you must make it very visible so that people can know you for who you are and appreciate you for what you carry. A sustainable career rhythm that supports longevity and excellence is what all these things brings about, right? Next, quickly. And then we're looking at the C. So the C now is create. So organize, we've organized. Now we want to create a system for high impact performance. How do I create a system for high impact performance? What do I need to put in place? What do I need to ensure that I have, put together to be able to create an high impact performance in my career? Number one, let's go for it. Next slide, please. So here we are talking about excellence and advancement. High achievers don't rely on effort alone, they use system. High achievers, they don't rely on effort alone, they must use system. I can assure you that without a proper system in place, everything will just become a wish and a dream. It will never come to reality. You must put a system in place. Now, what are the systems that we can put in place? Healthcare professionals must learn to create career progression system. As I was going into the new year, I knew I wanted to pivot from just an educator to into a bigger role that can give me leverage, in digital space. So the question I started looking for is, what fellowship do I have? I noticed there was a fellowship that was coming up for digital empowerment for women. I quickly enrolled for that. Do you see? I noticed that there was a project that was coming up, and I noticed that project would give me opportunity to be able to put in my own quota. I quickly show interest by sending email to those that are involved. So look into where you are currently. What are the career progression that you have seen that you must create and ask, or you must create a panel or a funnel that would move you into that space? You need to start putting them down. Do you see? So it's not just about, yes, everybody's writing new year resolution and new goals. So this is mine. I've written it. I want to become this. I want to be. No. Where exactly do you want to position yourself in? And then who are those that have what it takes? How do I want to connect with them? Do I send an email? Okay, when can I send an email? When do I have, should I request for a meeting? Should I even share my ask to them? Should I reach out to them and speak to them? Do you see it? Then another thing you want to look at, what are the learnings that I must acquire? I knew that I need to learn things around what I'm currently, looking at, venturing into. So I already enrolled myself in Masters in Digital Health. And I know that by the time I'm done with that, I would have opportunities around digital health roles. So positioning myself, first of all, registering for the course that would allot me what I want, and making sure that I do my research and my readings and everything else that I need to do. Building my portfolio system so that by the time I put myself out there, people will see it as, yes, she's got what we want, and we will bring her on board. Leadership and visibility system. This year should be the year where you want to share what you have. If you have something and you don't share it with us, we will not know you have it. So I don't know any of you that want to really go into the space of using social media to build your career progression, which is possible. We have it a lot. You see someone that will just stand there as a medical, guru, telling you things around the medical spaces. I was just being told, like a medical student who has hundreds of thousands of followers, just by sharing medical student tips on how you can navigate studies as a medical student. Beautiful, amazing. He's already positioning himself as a thought leader in that space. So what leadership visibility system do you want to put in place? Do you see? Research, teaching, innovation. You must ensure that you have your research time. A time you will set aside and you will Google things around what you are becoming, who you want to become in life, in your career progression. You must design a time for that, where you will look at what is happening within my industry. Who are the industry leaders that are playing the game that I want to be, that I want to join, and I want to be in their midst. You must have a plan and create a system around that. Next, please. Next, please. So use strategic supports, right? Do you see? Use strategic supports. So how do we use strategic support and mentorship? How can we use? You is using strategic support and mentorship. You see, when it comes to mentorship within healthcare professionals, it is really, really very low. And I don't know why. I don't know why we don't embrace mentorship on like corporate organizations. And it's something we need to really, really, remove from our mindset and culture. I don't know, maybe it's healthcare culture. But it's something we really need to start taking off our minds and removing that shell off our faces. Because the truth is, if you really want to go fast, quickly, without having to enter into any loopholes, you want to go with people that have walked the journey before, because they can tell you where the loopholes are and help you to avoid passing those loopholes. That is what mentorship is all about. Now, the question is, you have written out, you've identified your niche. You've put and organize your life and career and put them together. You've created a system around what you now want to do. The next thing on your agenda should be, who do I need to work with? Who do I need to volunteer with? Who do I need to mentor under? Who do I need to find as a coach that will hold my hands and say, right, these are the courses you need to do. These are some of the things you need to start doing in your employment, in your job, in your current job. Like I was telling one of my colleagues, they saw me every now and then, my junior colleague in nursing. She said, Funke, how did you become a clinical educator? Is it that you have an education certification before you joined? I said, no, I never had any. All I did was to ensure that I have played a role where I always look out for the problems within my unit and my ward. And I kind of position myself to be a solution provider. So peradventure, we had an incident where a patient had an hyporeaction and, because of low blood sugar. I can come up and say, okay, today we are going to look like hypoglycemia, and we're going to look at how we can ensure that patients with low blood sugar does not reoccur again. Do you see it? And all these things was what I projected during the interview, that these are the little things that I've played as an educator and as someone that impacts people's career, or that someone that stands as a thought leader in that space with these scenarios. I just painted those scenarios, and that was how I got the job. So someone that is planning to get into that space, what I can do is to tell you that your current role as a bedside nurse, make sure you are looking out for challenges and you're fixing it. You're creating stuff, you're creating resources, you're creating educational, what's it called again? Opportunities, experiences for people. Do you see? By doing that, you will be able to then help and position yourself as as someone that is, into teaching, that enjoys impacting, that enjoys bringing change. That is it, because you have come to meet me. I've been able to walk you through what I've gone through, and then you see yourself accelerating quicker. That is the power of mentorship. They help you move ahead of time so easily. Right? I can no longer see my slide. I'm not sure why, so I'm just going to quickly, move closer from here where we are. Just stay with me. I'm almost done. So when we're looking at what are the clinical and non-clinical mentorship that I need? When I mean non-clinical, I mean, who are those that can help you identify your purpose, your potentials, your strengths, your personalities, that can help you use it to leverage your clinical roles? So you definitely need some non-clinical. So it's not just about your hard skills, also your soft skills, your adaptability skills, your time management skills, your prioritization skills. Do you see? Those are non-clinical mentorship role courses or teaching that you will require. Leadership and career coaching, peer accountability and support circles, professional networks. What are the professional networks within my regions that I must attend? I want you to go back and write it down. 4 professional networks and conferences that I must attend in 2026. And make sure you put a date to it, identify when it is, where it is, and plan to attend. Whether the ones you will pay for, whether the ones that is free. I can tell you that is part of your career goals and career projections. One of the things that has really helped me last year, was having to find myself in networks and associations that are so powerful. They gave me leverage. The fellowship I applied for, it was because I went for a conference and someone told me about it. Do you see what conferences and networks can do to you? So please let this year be year that you will not just plan goals that I want to attain this, I want to achieve this, I want to write 4 exams and 10 courses, but you also want to build networks that would make a good impact in your net worth. Do you see? Networks that will make a good impact in your net worth, because your network is your net worth. Right? So faster growth, clearer decisions, and expanded opportunities. And the last but not the least, S. S means step out. Step out. You are focused, you have found your niche, you have organized your life, your energy, you have created a system that helps you to sustain your goals, and you have used the power of mentorship. The last one is S. You want to step out, lead, influence, and advance boldly. Because it is not enough to pack everything and keep to yourself. Like I said, if you don't go out there to tell us what you do and we see you do what you do, we don't necessarily will believe that you have what it takes for us to believe in what you do. And then it then becomes something that goes in circle and circle. And people will be like, how come she has so much, but yet we can't really relate it in our results. So you have to step out. What does it entail to step out, right? Courageous execution and visibility. So this is where I'm going to tell you about, this is where healthcare professionals stop waiting and start leading. A lot of healthcare professionals, we are too laid back. And I want to really challenge us this year. I want us to be out there on LinkedIn. I want us to be out there on social media platforms. I want us to be out there on podcasts. I want you to be out there on YouTube, talking about how healthcare stands out as one of the biggest, most impactful profession out there. Do you see? So what are the 5 ways of career execution? Quickly, I'm just going to run through this. I wrote it here. Number 1, clarity. Know your desired role and your direction. Where are you going exactly? And how do you intend to get there? Number 2, consciousness. Stay mentally aligned with your career. See, a lot of things would detail you in this year. A lot of things would try to take you away from what you believe about yourself. A lot of people even try to shut it off and say you don't see or see. You're just wasting your time. You're just wasting your time. But you have to be consciously, mentally alert to what you believe about yourself and see it every day that you have become it already. Consistency. Take daily and weekly career advancing actions. Consistency is the game for any success in life. I can assure you of that. The moment you can stay consistent in a thing, you have built a momentum that cannot be broken. Courage. Apply, speak up, publish, lead, even when you're unsure. you will find out that clarity will come to the place of doing. The more you do it, the more you build courage, and the more you succeed about on that thing, the more you are, more courageous to do more and to be more. And lastly, come out, be visible, take a space, and own your expertise. Right. So thank you very much. I think I've come to the end of my session. Like I said, the focus framework helps healthcare professionals to gain clarity, build a sustainable system, and step confidently into your leadership and high impact career. I've put a workbook together that you can sit into and help you to frame your focus for 2026. I've sent it to Taiwo, and she will be sharing it with all our community. Thank you for having me. I apologize once again for the network glitch. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I don't know if you have any question for me before I step out. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am. This was a so enriching session. So for purpose of time, we're going to go straight into the question. We're going to be taking 2 questions. So if you have any question, just quickly drop it in comment section so that Madam Fonke is going to have it answered. Please, let's do it very, very, very swiftly. Thank you. Okay. While the others drop the question, just help me appreciate. Did you like the sessions? Put it in the comment sections, please. Let's appreciate Madam Funky for this powerful presentation and for sharing such insight and wisdom with us. All right. No question. The comment section is empty. Okay. Looks like we're not having any question. All right, so thank you so much. We're going to be moving to the second segment then. For the second segment, we have 2 impact makers. It's true that originally on the flyer, it was Mr. Tosi Jones that was to be on this panel, but we are fortunate to have another guest with us. So for this panel, we will be having Mr. Tosi Jones, who is a nurse, midwife, and a public health researcher with over 6 years of experience in humanitarian and maternal health program in the northwest region of Cameroon, that's in West Africa. He holds a master's degrees in midwifery and a BSc in nursing and midwifery, and is currently ongoing a PhD in health policy and administration, where he's researching on emergency in obstetric delays in emergency obstetric care. So he has worked with numerous NGOs, namely the Medical International Medical Corps. He has collaborated with the UNFPA, among others associations. He's trained in mental health and psychosocial support by the UNFPA, the Red Cross. Okay, so Mr. Tosi Jones is also a Ban Ki-moon scholar and a lecturer at the University of Bamenda in Cameroon, and also the founder of Tosi Mother and Child Foundation, where he's committed to strengthening maternal health systems in low resource settings. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Tosi.
Pleasure. Thank
All
you for
right. So with him, we will be having Madam Marta Agbonyeti, um, who is an award-winning midwife in 2023. She's going to be winning the Goalkeeper Awards, prestigious awards issued by the Gates Foundation. She is also the founder of the For Mom and Baby Foundation that's working to support mothers in the crisis region of Cameroon, notably the Northwest and the Southwest region. She's also an Eco Green Fellow, which is a social innovation program. So among others, she says so many things. She's also a mentor and also a sponsor of the present ICM sponsorship program. We're so honored to have you both for this session. Madam Taiwo, please, Miss Madam Marta with us. So, okay, like I was saying, it's a pleasure to have you. So, today we're going to be talking about stories of impact, and your story is so peculiar because you've walked beyond the bedside, a bit at the bedside as well, but your impact have been so felt beyond the bedside, and it started from places that's very similar to a lot of people on this call. I remember you were sharing a post on LinkedIn one day where you were talking about furnishing your education via a little, kind of retail business. And it's so inspiring and empowering to have you here. So we're going to start this session while waiting on Madam Marta. So today we're talking about impact beyond the bedside. So what at what point did you realize that your impact as a midwife could go beyond the bedside? Like what was that moment for you?
Ah, thank you so much, Therese. I'm sure that's for me.
Yeah, that's for you.
Okay, thank you so much. And before I go ahead, I really want to appreciate you and Madam Blessing for such initiative. I think that it's really timely and it's necessary. And coming in with the question, when we look at midwifery for the past years, for decades, we've often looked at nurses and midwives like people who don't have a place in the society, and m- people go through it. Even people who carry out the duties, they work as midwives, they don't feel fulfillment. They don't feel excited doing what they are doing. Some are stuck. They just do what they do because they want to earn a living. They want to get a salary at the end of the day. So my passion for midwifery or looking at how I could go further even started even at the level of where I was in my final year. So I felt like I needed to do something. I needed to bring about change when it comes to midwifery. I needed to do something that would be different. Like, let me do the same thing that people do, but make sure that somebody can look at it and be able to say that yes, you can still be a midwife and make a difference in the society. So because of that mentality, I had in mind to pursue a master's in reproductive health right from my undergraduate. That's why when I completed my studies, even at that time, I knew of only one school in Cameroon, that was Université Catholique d'Afrique, UCAC in Yaoundé, and the fees I could not even afford. So at that point, I decided now to start practicing while still hoping to pursue my master's in in reproductive health. Unfortunately for me, they launched master's in midwifery at the University of Bamenda, and that's when I enrolled, and it took my career to another level.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's it's a very interesting story. The story is so inspiring, like I was saying, and it's very important because it required a mindset shift, especially because it's not the most obvious thing that could happen. So, was there some specific things you had to do in order to, get into this space where you were creating a much more bigger impact?
Okay, what happened is that while I was still preparing for my master's, while I was still working and preparing to start master's, I saw an opportunity with a local NGO that's with me. It's, uh, it's also in the southwest. So they needed a midwife to work as a sexual and reproductive health supervisor. And even what they were offering was more of a volunteering opportunity. Immediately I saw that opportunity. Just a minute. So immediately I saw that opportunity. I decided now to work. And that's when I started working with Midwife in 2019. And while in the organization, and it was during the crisis, we were doing more of mobile clinics. We started going to hard to reach areas where we go and provide antenatal care consultation to pregnant women. We distribute delivery packs and so on and so forth. And while working with them, I realized that they had a lot of projects.
So they had projects on child protection, they had projects on water sanitation and hygiene, that's wash. They had projects on gender-based violence, nutrition in emergency, and that's how I found myself working across different projects. And at a certain point, they started even calling me Nurse Without Borders. So with that, it gave me a lot of experiences, and with that, I also I looked even at the level of the facility, the hospital. I saw a lot of gaps on things that I could address. And one of the factors or one of the key things was delays, and that's why even when I started my masters now, I decided now to focus my research only towards these delays in emergency obstetric care, which is one of the leading causes of maternal mortality.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for these efforts, because this was a lot of sacrifice on your side, and I'm sure today the communities are grateful for the work you're doing, you know, with your job as in the community. Okay, so we are having a second guest with us. Hello, Madam Marta Abognetti. We're happy to have you. Welcome on this.
Hi, Teres. Hi, everyone. Lovely to be on this call.
Oh, thank you so much. All right. So before you came, Mr. Tosi Jones was telling to us that it's high time that midwives should step up. Why do you think it's important, Mom?
Stepping up, I don't think stepping up is only just a simple word or a sentence you say. I feel like it's mandatory for midwives in particular to step up, because we do so much over the years from time immemorial. Midwifery is one of like the earliest professions. If we have to date it right back to the Bible, where we learn about Shifra and Puah, the two midwives who, the king at the time asked to kill the babies and they didn't. We know how the story goes. They were very dignified in the way they practiced midwifery. And so to say, midwifery is a very dignified profession. And because of how mindful this is, we have to be able to carry the profession to the level of dignity where it had already been placed from time back. So it takes so much to be a midwife on the inside and even on the outside, because we do so much. We are working hand in gloves with God to bring life into this earth. So it's no small job. If midwives stop working, there will be less and less babies being born. And even if the babies are being born, they may not make it up to 5, because midwives have a special way of ensuring that these mothers who are there, are able to be apt enough to care for the babies. I was reading something interesting just some minutes back about the human capital index, which has three key sectors, which is, the first is survival, the second is support, and the third is, if I'm not mistaken, wait, let me take it back. The first is survival, the second is school, and the third is health. And these are all three key things that ensure that a child is able to survive right up to the age 18. So most times, if you take a mother out of this picture, 2 out of these 3 human capital index will fall, meaning you drastically reduce that child's ability to survive or thrive, even right to the age of 18. So knowing about this, we know that we as midwives, we have a very huge role to play. We really do have to step up, because the lives of both these mothers, and not only the mothers, but the babies, are at the very core of the work that we do. Think I'll throw it back to you.
Looks like the network is breaking.
Sure, it's from your end.
I'll pass the mic back to you.
Okay. Um, I think we could not enjoy like the last sentence you shared with us. The network was breaking. It was on and off. If you could just come back there, that would be perfect. Thank you, Mom.
All right, can you guys get me now?
Yes,
All
perfect.
right, perfect. Sorry about the network glitch. We are in Cameroon. We know what that means. From time to time, it's going to hop up in and out. Well, I concluded by saying that everything about being a midwife is about life and death. And we as
Mm,
midwives, we have to be at the very center of making sure that these mothers have their babies in full health, and even the mothers have the capability to take very good care of these children so that they are able to grow and thrive excellently.
thank you so much for this. This is a very striking conversation, and this is one of the most urgent conversations we are having around the globe presently. The this year title for the International Day of the Midwife, the international conference that's going to be carried in Lisbon by the ICM, is focused around like 100 million more, 1 million more midwives, and I think you both perfectly articulated like the specific reasons why we need much more midwives, and not just more midwives, but they should be fully invested into restoring the dignity of mothers and women, just midwifery at large. Thank you so much for this. And it's interesting because generally, when we talk about midwifery, we tend to see just at the bedside. But it's interesting that with your various foundations and your impact, you've been able to make the world to see that, okay, the bedside is important, but also we need to be looking into something else. You have, for example, with the For Mom and Baby Foundation, carry out mostly outreach programs. So why is it important that we should also be looking around outside, the bedside?
Yeah, I think this question is very pertinent and it speaks a lot to how I practice midwifery uniquely. I remember when I just started midwifery school, it was more about I questioned the status quo a lot. And I feel like that was what made me, be should I say in quotes a rebel midwife, because everything we were taught in school was centered about clinical midwifery. It was more about, oh, when the women come, this is what you should do. When the women come, this is how you should treat them. But what about if they do not come, or when they do not come? Where do this group of women stay? Why not meet them at the place, where they inhabit, or where they, do all the things they usually do? Why not go into the community? So I question that a lot. And one of the things that really made me to double question it was the fact that most of my teachers or most of my lecturers were nurses and not midwives. So most times the classes would tilt towards, oh, we are talking about midwifery, but we cannot keep talking about nursing. Yes, midwifery is important, but let's talk about nursing. Can we just talk about midwifery in the midwifery class fully? So I always really just question these things, and I wanted to get solid answers, and that was what made me to go the direction in which I went, because I always just enjoyed my time being in the community, getting to experience what these women are experiencing. And that was what led me to volunteering with other local organizations. To be honest, I had no plan starting my own organization. It wasn't anywhere in the books for me. It just happened based on my own experience that I had working with or volunteering with the other organizations for over 4 years. So they were doing quite a number of things away from maternal and child health, but I realized that there was a lot that women and children, or moms and babies, had, which needed a lot more attention or focus to it, needed a spotlight to be shown on it. So that was why I decided to go the direction in which I went, community midwifery. And I feel like in the long run, it's going to be taking over a whole lot, because so many more women. I feel like the more things are advancing or aging, and the more we feel like we have hit the technological age, the more people are at other ends of the world instead reversing or going to the back. The more women are no longer going for antenatal care or attending their, normal services they should be seeking. The more they are staying back at home and seeking traditional birth attendants and all. So there's just so much going on, and we need continuous effort to make sure that these women truly have access to quality healthcare.
That's fascinating. Thank you so much for this. Mr. Tosi Jones, I think that one of the focus of your research, for your PhD is understanding the delays in obstetrics, and one of these delays is in accessing the hospital. I think that two of those delays is actually in accessing the health facility. So, yes, that as Madam Mata was saying, there's a lot of work that has to be done beyond the bedside, and it starts from the leadership. So what's your take on this?
Okay, just to go back to what Mata said concerning the community, I can say I've been in the community for almost 7 years. I mean, actively working in the community, and especially in hard to reach areas. I know sometimes it's easy for people to mention hard to reach areas, but when we talk about hard to reach areas, there are communities where you don't have light, you don't have water, You don't have network. In fact, there are no hospitals. The few health centers that you find, you will hardly or never even find a midwife that is trained to just conduct normal delivery. And there are some of these women that they deliver at home. Like you said, talking about the second delay has to do with transportation, reaching the health facility. I work in a community where almost every month we are recording neonatal death in the community, especially during the rainy season, where women cannot even access the facility. They are unable when there are floods, they cannot move, and there are no roads. So these are some of the challenges. Like yeah, like she's saying, the world is advancing, but we need to get back to those areas to see what to do. And that's why for some time most of our interventions or our plan is to get back to mostly to this hard to reach community. Because in this community there you may have traditional birth attendants, you have some of the people who are there, they have been trained. The highest level they can reach is being a nurse assistant. So we try to see how we can capacitate these people to be able to handle those situations at that level or to even recognize those emergencies. Because if you are unable to recognize, a woman will come, she's in labor, she's bleeding, and to another person is just normal. So it's about also identifying them and referring them on time. And when you look, like you talk about leadership, when you look at accounting, we have very good policies. But the problem with the policies is at the level of implementation. For example, now you hear about the universal health coverage that every woman who is pregnant is supposed to receive care free of charge. We've been hearing of malaria for children less than 5 years, but it doesn't work. It's just in theory. Now that's why we really need to go back to this community and then talk to these people and even talk to the workers. Because there are times you see even the workers that go to these facilities, what they do more is they do more of extorting these women. So it's really painful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think we've laid the good foundation for this conversation. Like is pivotal that we should be shifting, beyond the bedside. It's not just for the purpose of becoming influential, but there is a real need into the community. And thank you for highlighting it properly. Now, you identify the need, so how did you go about, like, what was the process, to bring in about an impact, in the different communities you served? Like, how do you go about it? I know both of your journey on social media, you talk a lot about it, but it will be amazing that we should hear from you. Let's start with Madam Marta.
Okay, thank you for okay.
It's okay. Tosi was already ready. So Tosi, please, by all means, go on. We'll do
Thank
gentlemen before ladies. No problem.
I'm sorry. In fact, that question is like I can spend the whole of my life talking about. Okay. First of all, like I said, working in these communities, we realize that there's a statement that somebody made that they don't know whether in our training they actually train midwives to be maybe to talk to patients rudely. People have their personal problems, they come and they just transfer it to these women. And I also realized that even in our training as a midwife, in fact, there is nothing like you go as a midwife, you live as a midwife. There is no value like you end up as a midwife. And you see that when you even live to get back to this community, there is it's just more of routine. You can even come to school, you get a degree, and after getting the degree, you go back to those facilities, you unlearn what you learned in school and begin to practice more of what is being done in the community. So that's why I was really passionate about being going back to teach um, or to be an educator, so that I could change this mindset, not just being in a community as a, or working in a facility as a midwife, but being able to also empower those that are under me. And then for the facilities that I work most often, it's always very difficult to work as a colleague and maybe share, like you will say, okay, this is postpartum hemorrhage, what you want to give maybe a lesson, it's difficult. But to students, or when people come for internship, they learn more. So I see that being in the classroom, it goes a long way to help. And then another strategy that I use, especially in this hard-to-reach community, we realize that there is no communication. Like you have health centers, you have district hospitals, you have regional hospitals, but there is no communication. There are cases that you are even in a district hospital, you just see that a lady is coming to the hospital without, maybe that woman had fetal distress, they are referring the woman without communicating that facility. And you see that the chain of delay is continuous. So what we started doing is that most often when we are in a health center, we make sure that we begin to create this link between those referral hospitals so that anytime there is a case, we make sure that case is communicated. And then also we see that there are communities that have community workers, but these community workers, they don't really do much as far as midwifery is concerned. Just taking for example something like danger signs in pregnancy, there are a lot of women who have no knowledge about danger signs in pregnancy. A woman just, they referred a woman who lost the baby at the original, but she was there. There were no fetal movement for about a week, and the baby finally she had intrauterine fetal death, and she had no idea that that was a danger thing. So that's why we decided now that we work in the community, work with each community worker, carry out sensitization, and see how to also link up all these um, facilities. Thank you and over.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. I think Teresa's network is still loading. But while she joins us, I think I'll just pick up from the very excellent points that you've shared. For me, I feel like it's an issue of motivation because midwives are not properly compensated for the quality and quantity of the work that they do. So I know so many of my classmates, people that I studied midwifery with, practically sat in the same class with, who are doing things that are a million worlds apart from what midwives are supposed to be doing. But then there are so many women still dying on labor room beds. There are so many children that are still dying, and so many other things that are happening. But then midwives are selling dresses, doing a couple of other things. Not that selling dresses is bad, but then the main focus or the main thing that you are supposed to be saving or doing is making sure that those women and children are still alive, but then you're doing something else. And most of them, you really cannot blame them. It's an issue of poor motivation. There's not enough, they are not properly paid. There are some midwives who have been volunteering for. I spoke with one, I had a call with a very sincere call with someone I worked with her when I was still a student. I actually thought she was a staff at that particular health facility. But then during my call with her, that was when I realized that she had only been volunteering, and this year was going to make her 10 years volunteering in that particular facility. So you can imagine. So she only told me that she just had to quit during the first days of this January, and now she's looking for something else to do. So imagine volunteering, saving lives for 10 solid years of your life, of your career. It's so frustrating. So midwives are in that battle of, should I keep doing what I love or should I go for financial sustainability? And I feel like this should not be a battle that should be had. We should be properly compensated for the life-saving work that we are doing. It should never get to a point like this where we have to choose between life and money. You know, we should meet somewhere in the middle and it should be all balanced up. So I feel like that's the main problem. If midwives are properly compensated for the amazing work that they do, then I feel like we will not have all of this charade of back and forth because we need so many hands on deck. That's why, like you rightly said, Therese, ICM is calling for 1 million more midwives.
Wow, this was a lot. Thank you so much. Um, in this conversation, you're highlighting a lot of leadership issues that's kind of contributing to the shortage. Midwife has been overwhelmed, and that brings us like to the next segment.
Hi, Taiwo. Are you there?
She's not, the network seems to be.
We can't hear you. By the way, this is such an amazing initiative. Kudos to you guys. It's really amazing that we just come on board and have these conversations. They're really pertinent, important, and interesting. I don't know if you can hear me, Taiwo, but I'll have to go. I have a very important meeting now. I'm so glad that I was able to join and chip in my 2 cents. Thank you guys so much for having me. Tosi, lovely to be on this call with you. Thank you so much.
Same here, man. I'm really sorry that I have to go. I wish you could stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Please
I
confirm
can
that
hear
you can hear me. Thank you so
you.
much. I don't know what's wrong with the other account, so I have to switch to the other one. Thank you, Mentor Marty, as I phone call her because she's my mentor. I really appreciate your presence. Thank you so much. And Mr. Tosi, thank you too. Even though I was struggling to hear what you were saying when you are with your earpods, but I think I heard a little bit of what you said. So Terence is here. Let me kindly add her back. Terence, over to you. Welcome.
Thank you so much. The network has really had the best of us today. So sorry about that. All right. So we were talking about leadership in midwifery, and it's so important. And contrary to what we think of leadership generally, it's not about you having authority over people, because it starts with yourself. It starts with how you're going to influence your colleagues, your peers, and also how you will be able to influence people that are above you. Maybe policymakers. And this has been very, very, present with your work, as midwives. You've been able to do that, but it started from the self. So what are some of the things, like some of the skills you had to work on intentionally in order to do the transition from the bedside to the impact, from to the community? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Before I go to that, I must say that there is, the first speaker spoke a lot, and I really learned a lot from her conversation. Like she was talking, I was just like picturing how I can be fitting in these experiences, because we are not doing more of lessons, but more of experiences. There is something she said, and I want to put it this way: skills, your skill plus your visibility plus
Mhm.
character will give you opportunity. Because if you have skill and nobody knows the skill that you have, that means you are not visible. And if you even have the skill, you are visible, because it's possible for many people to be visible. But when somebody starts getting you, that is what they want to get from you, they'll see that the skills are not there. So we don't need to prioritize visibility over skill. And then again, if the skills that are there, you are visible and there's no character. There's a saying that uh, your skill will take you to the top position, but what will sustain you there is your character. I want to say that particularly before talking about skill, what has really helped me in life is, I don't know, I mean, being able to submit 100%. I was sharing an experience that for this past time, like for the past few years, I've thought, oh, I'm sorry about that. Please, can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Please, you can proceed. Thank
Okay,
you.
I'm sorry. So I was just sharing that those are referrals. That means people simply refer you because they know that this is the person you are, this is who you are, and so on. So for the skills, one of the skills that has helped me, let me say research is one of them. Research is one. And another thing that has helped me, which is, let me say, it's a bit different from skill, because even when you have the skill, it's a bit important. Because I think that at this level, if I was not able to get a master's immediately, it wouldn't have positioned me where I am today. Why am I saying this to this midwife or to midwives? I want to tell you that when you have a degree, a BSc, know that that is just it's like a nursery school certificate. When I had my BSc in 2019, that's why I wrote on my Facebook page that this is just a nursery, this is nursery school graduation. Others will tell you that school don't pay and so on and so forth. But in as much as because it will help you to improve your skill, you improve the skill and then again you will have the back end which is that certificate. So there are a lot of skills that I think that even as midwives you need to learn, especially in this era. Because when you look at things like research, research is broad, and under it you have things like data analysis that midwives can engage in. Data analysis is one. You have things like maybe uh, even content creator. You can just decide that you want to create or to work maybe as to create a YouTube link. But what has really helped me research has been one of it. That's a skill that I really try to master. And another thing is that I did not just stay focused community. I look at other areas that I could expand my impact. For example, I started looking at digital health in early 2024, and just last week we had an award that is funding our project, which is developing a mobile application to solve this problem of delays that we are talking about. That's me now already in the digital, um, let me say in the digital, how do I put it? That's me in the tech now, integrating maternal and child into technology. So it's about looking at different areas. You can begin to look at climate change. What relationship does climate change have with maternal and child? So it's about they talk about system thinking. Like you look at different things to function as a whole and identify, like you talked about the needs. You look at the main thing that you want to focus on. For example, if there's an organization talking about uh, pregnancy, and their main focus is preconception care. You, as a midwife, you must not do everything. You need to identify a particular thing, which is what I have identified the delay. And everything I'm working on, I bring it back to those delays. Yeah. So education, leadership skills, research, learning about digital health, those are some of the things that have really helped me. And then even project management, monitoring and evaluation, and so on and so forth. Thank you.
All right. This is a so insightful conversation, and we could talk about so many things. Thank you so much. Well, we are going to like let's just have like this to what just quickly, right? Was there a particular opportunity like that projected your career like to the next level? Very quickly, an opportunity that did that to you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. The first opportunity that projected my career was that opportunity I had to work with an NGO that's with me. So because with that, I had to work on a different project that expanded my knowledge to really think wide. Then
Mm.
again, after working with this organization, I was fortunate again to work with the International Medical Corps. And it is at that level that I was able to come in contact with the regional delegate of Popular. So it kind of created some connections now, so that any I could go to them for advice and so on and so forth. And then the next opportunity that really changed my life was doing my master's in ministry. Because immediately I
Mm.
finished my master's in ministry, I was called up now to the university to teach.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this. All right. So one last question. You know, we've talked about so many things. It's true that we can't really go on the numbers like your foundation has trained midwives on critical skills in obstetric. You've reached out to women in your community. Like the impact is real. You know, you've been able to not just impact the community directly, but I think even at the level of the policy, the local leaders, they start to see like the importance that um of why your work matter, and this is so powerful. And there's a midwife, somewhere on this webinar that's looking. and maybe he or she we're so lucky that you're one of the few he that we have in the midwifery profession. Like you have so much women, less men. Yeah, but going back to my question, what do you have to say to somebody that's just somewhere and then he's saying that this thing is not for me, like I don't have the skill set, I don't have the confidence, like I cannot do it, like one last message to this person.
Okay, thank you. Like I said, that this is one of the reasons that took me back to the classroom. I'm sure you're out of the call, but that's one of the reasons why that took me to the classroom, because I realized that even as a student, we were not exposed. Everything was just about you learn your course, you finish, and so on. But there is more that we need to do, the younger generation of midwives, which is beyond the classroom. Like there are things that you as a midwife, even as a student, you have to start doing them, even as a student, before you wait to graduate. There are a lot of persons that have skills. Like public speaking is a skill. And you can see that, okay, there are some basic things that you learn in school that you can begin to communicate, and you can begin to share them online. And that's how you improve, because the more you share that, the more you are learning. So the first thing is that you need to identify what
Mm,
you are passionate about, or your skills. What are the things that you are good in? Because the fact that you are a midwife, it doesn't mean that your the other skills that you have, they should die. There are
mm,
people who as midwives, before coming to midwifery, they were maybe in a journalism club in their school. There are others that were acting. You can bring acting into midwifery. You say that no, what are, like you say, this is a challenge that is, or this an experience that women are having. You can develop a script. You can even be a spoken word artist. I'm just talking about things that, because we have diverse persons in midwifery who have skills that they can use them. So don't feel like
exactly.
because you're a midwife, you are stuck, you cannot do anything. And the best thing
Mm,
is to start now. The best thing is to start now. And you may say that if I leave my clinical job, because somebody may just look at me and say that, okay, the way you are talking, you show that you are doing this because you've been able to leave the bedside. I'm still practicing bedside midwifery, and I'm able to do all of this. So it is possible for you to still be there and identify these skills and begin to work on them. For example, if you want to work on data analysis now, or you want to develop your skills in the second one, focusing on data analysis, there are a lot of free online courses that you can start taking them and begin to be your field. In less than no time, you see a physical meeting you attend, and very soon an opportunity will show up. So there are a lot of skills that we have to take. And my encouragement and my challenge to every midwife, to every student is that you should not be stagnant. Like if you cannot work in the same role for over 5 years and there's no progress. Even schools now,
mm,
even masters, even programs, you can do them online. And there are a lot of things that we can explore. There is something coming up now like perinatal mental health. There are women throughout pregnancy, they suffer, they go through a lot of trauma. That's something that you could
yeah.
identify as a midwife and begin to target. There's nutrition in pregnancy, or in maternal nutrition, maternal and child nutrition. These are things that you could focus on. So there is a lot. It's just to look around where you are working. What do you think that you can focus on? And again, don't compete, because that's the mistake that maybe people make. You see somebody, the person has an idea, instead of maybe sharing with the person to learn, it's more now
Mm,
of competition. It's more of competition. You may see somebody who has an idea, instead of saying that, okay, maybe let me come and work with this person, you are like, no, let me create my own stand alone. Let me tell you that what I'm doing today, those are things that I journal them since 2020. They are well written. So it's not just about acting. Like I said, your skills first. Develop the skills, even the clinical skills while you're there. And then make sure that as
mhm,
you develop them, let them be visible. Once they are visible, good character, humility pays. And when that humility is there, opportunities will come. I don't want to go ahead and talk about the opportunities that I've had. just feeling good, just this last year, the kind of connections I've had and the opportunities I've found. Thank you. We could talk for the whole over.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having this wonderful conversation. It was such a great time to have you and Madam Mata for this panel conversation on stories of impact. Um, all right, so we're going to, to jump into the next segment. We have two amazing midwives, just like you all, that are going to be talking to us about leadership and trends in midwifery. Thank you again, Mr. Tosi. All right. So that was that. I don't know if Madame Joseline is okay. We'll start with Dr. Beatrice Muilike. All right, so for the next segment, we're going to be talking about leadership and trends in midwifery. This is a very, very important conversation because, like we were saying, for you to be able to transition, like to be more impactful in your career, leadership is very, very important. So, with us, we have Dr. Molike, who is a midwife, an educator, and she's also the president. She's also the president of the Tanzania Midwife Association. It's such an honor to have you. And she's done a lot of things, she's been into education and she has helped over 35 students with their master thesis. She's been into the space where we talk about the things that's moving the midwifery profession, talking about policy. And over the years, with her more than um, 15 years of experience and expertise into the field, there are things, there are patterns she saw, and there are things that she came across that she will be sharing with us. It's such an honor to have you, ma'am. Um, Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, doctor. Welcome.
I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, thank you so much. And I'm glad to be
Thank you
here
for
to share
honoring
my
us.
experience as well as sharing my journey in midwifery as a midwife professional. And as I've been introduced, maybe I could first share a little background that in my education. I did Bachelor of Science in Nursing in the past, was it 20 years? I graduated in 2008, and then I did then later on a master's in midwifery and women's health. As we all know, in nursing and midwifery, our education most of the time is kind of integrated. And then when you want to choose a career path for you to focus to be a nurse or a midwife, it depends on like who you meet or which mentor is with you to guide you on the perfect career path to take, whether you want to focus to become a midwife or to become a nurse. So eventually, personally, I was really keen into supporting mothers, particularly adolescent mothers, because I have seen in most of the areas, most of the time, the adolescents, especially adolescent girls, when they become pregnant, they don't get support they are supposed to get from the professionals, from the family, from the society. And therefore, I developed a much interest to ensure that I'll be able to support pregnant adolescents. And then it's that thing that made me to pursue a career in midwifery. So I did my master's in midwifery and graduated in 2014. And after my graduation, I started working. Of course, I was already working as an academician because when you have good grades, particularly when you at your bachelor level, you can get an opportunity to be an academician. Although also I really enjoyed working at the bedside because that is what we are called before, to provide care for others, to care for others, to ensure that they become well, they recover, and they stay in their healthy state mind. So I started working as an educational nurse at first, and then after I completed my midwifery, then I started working as a midwifery educator since 2014 until to date. And after some few years, and then I did a PhD program in majoring in midwifery. And during my PhD is when now I was really able to focus conducting my research on supporting pregnant adolescents. So I did kind of an intervention program to support pregnant adolescents within the communities. And through that experience, when I was doing my research, it really gave me insight on how the young adolescents who are pregnant, the way they are suffering, they could not access the services. So I was like, okay, so we can actually develop something to reach them to the communities, to support them in their communities because they cannot access the services. And in case it happened that they access the services, they don't get the support they are supposed to get from the providers. We tend to scold them, we tend to judge them, we tend to like tell them like, what are you doing, you are still very young, why did you become pregnant, and such kind of things. So most of them, they were not coming to the facilities to seek care. They would stay in their communities until you discover that they are pregnant, is when now you can be able to support them. So through that, I decided to develop a research project. So I developed a grant, and after developing a grant, I was able to win a grant from Germany, and then I led a community midwife-led mobile antenatal clinic project, whereby I could reach pregnant women who are staying in hard-to-reach areas. So I would have a car with midwives and with equipment. They would move to the different communities that I was working on. We could provide antenatal care services, and we could refer all those women whom we identify that they have any signs of complications. And at some point, I found that even those with complications, when you refer them, they actually don't go again due to different reasons, that they will tell you it's very far, or they don't have money to go to the facilities, because when they go to the facility, they have to pay the cost for treatment or for management. And so through that, I continued to share with colleagues to ensure that we really keep on supporting women, especially those who are disadvantaged and they are staying in hard to reach areas. So coming back to the topic of like the trends in midwifery and like having beyond the bedside. As a midwife, it is really satisfactioning when you are able to support a woman, you are able maybe to support her to deliver, and she delivers safely and she gets a safe baby. As we are the first being to welcome lives in the world, we are the first to witness when someone is born as a midwife. So that is always satisfactory as a midwife, but it doesn't mean that we should really end providing bedside care, while there are a number of opportunities or areas where we could really work and bring impact to our communities, we could bring impact to our societies. So with the available advancements in in technology, we have now AI, we have a lot of advancement in the profession, whereby as midwives we can we can not only rely on providing bedside care, but we can even move to support the communities, to support women, to support young children, to support neonates in other areas apart from the bedside area. So I'll share examples of things that I've already been able to do through the Midwifery Association as the president of the association. First, also being in the association, it is one of the key area to focus on, because through the professional association, I've had my previous colleagues have actually talked about it, that if you don't have a network, then you cannot build your net worth, you cannot grow. So professional association is part of building your network among your fellow professionals, And it's an area where you can be able to identify different opportunities that are existing within the profession for you to be able to develop your career and to develop, to get guidance on like where to go, where to focus. So through the professional association, personally, I've been able to grow even in the global arena. I've actually been part of the International Confederation of the Midwives, ICM, whereby we have been able to develop different guidelines and policies. So far, I participated in developing the it's a guideline on supporting midwifery educators to ensure that we improve midwifery education across the globe. So I think I was the only African, if we were only, oh, we were like two or three Africans within that group. So to me, maybe through being part of the professional association, I got a network and I was able now to get an opportunity to share my expertise, to share my experience for us to be able to develop a guideline which will improve midwifery education and eventually end up growing the profession as it is. And then another area we can look at apart from working from the bedside, being an educator. Sometimes people can ask me like, how many deliveries have you conducted maybe in the past year? I cannot give that number, but I will tell them that those whom I teach, all the hands that they have helped, all the mothers, you can count them and then you can get the number. Because I've been able to impart the knowledge I have to others. I've been able to coach, to mentor, to facilitate them for them to be able to provide better care, for them to become competent. So whatever they are able to deliver, I believe I've also been part of it because I've been able to impart my knowledge. So being an educator is also a really huge task, because when you are an educator, it's like you're also a student. It's not different. It's not much different, because like you need to update yourself every day. You have to read. You have to ensure that whatever knowledge you impart to others really brings impact to the community that you are looking at. Because Tanzania is one of the low middle income countries, it still had large number of maternal mortalities, although in the past few years we've been able to reduce, but still there are mothers who are dying while they are not supposed to die because of giving birth. Sometimes I ask, like, when you check the animals in the bush, they give birth, they are not dying. Then why us human die because of giving birth, while we have the knowledge, we have the equipment, we have the expertise, we have everything to stop if we see signs of complications, to ensure that a woman doesn't die. So as an educator, sometimes I feel burdened that I should really make sure that the knowledge I impart, it really brings impact to ensure we prevent the preventable maternal death, the preventable neonatal deaths that are occurring in the societies. So if you don't work in the bedside, you can actually work as a midwifery educator and share your knowledge, share your experience to ensure that you support others. Because there are those who are like inborn, they are teachers, like they really tend to teach. I remember when I was doing my internship, when I find a group of people, whether my co-workers or I find students, I was really pushed from inside that I should share what I know, because sometimes you might think you know, but what you know is not right. So I was really pushed to share what I know, to teach others, and then I found that okay, I also have a calling of being a teacher to ensure that like everyone is becoming competent for them to be able to provide appropriate care and have positive outcomes for the mothers and for the babies. And then another area we can leverage on is all about providing midwife-led community care. So if you're not working the bedside, you can actually do community work as a midwife, especially in our African context. We have a majority of the population in the rural areas, and the rural areas are always not covered, like the access is limited for them to access the health services or to access the facilities. So as a learned midwife, as a competent midwife, you can actually design projects, or you can actually collaborate with the catchment facilities within a certain community, and then you support them, you work with them, and you do outreach services to ensure that all those women who are in the rural areas or all those women who are disadvantaged, they can really be able to access the health services that are available. So as I've given an example already, that I designed a project where I could have a mobile antenatal clinic, which was midwife led. I could have two midwives who were working in the communities. So we could work actually hand in hand with the community health workers, and the community health workers are the ones who really mostly support you to be able to organize the women within their communities, because they know their community very well compared to the midwife who is going to provide the services. So you can collaborate with them and offer services to your ability, but also you can collaborate with the government to ensure that there is continuity of care. So when you provide care to the community, if a woman has complications or if they want to have postpartum, then they can actually move to the facilities to continue with the care. And then another area we can leverage on is the use of technology. Now we have AI, we have telecommunications, we have mobile applications that have been developed. So as a midwife, you can actually be an innovator. You can innovate a mobile application which will support, either will support the midwives or will support the mothers. We should not wait for the like people in IT for them to be able to develop mobile applications for us. We can innovate the ideas, we can seek support from the IT people, develop mobile application which maybe would support midwives to be able to perform their work, to update their knowledge every day, to update their skills. So as a midwife, you can actually be an innovator as well. So currently, like we are doing a project where there is a mobile application which has been developed by midwives from Denmark, and through that mobile application is called Safe Delivery application, where they have included different modules for midwives to learn, for them to be able to improve their practices. So like through the mobile application, if you want to provide care and you have forgotten something, you can just check on your mobile. You can see the procedures on how to do something or to do some procedure, and for you to be able now to provide the care. And you have already seen the impact through that mobile application. But again, there is technology using AI. Like there is an innovation already on doing ultrasound scanning through AI. So someone has already designed an application that is using AI technology to do ultrasound scanning, and that device can be used even for a midwife who has low level of education. Like it should not be used by experts, or ultrasound cannot be done only by experts. So even in the rural areas, in the areas where there are no ultrasound services in my country, actually a midwife or a nurse or low-level provider, even the community health workers, they can learn, because that AI, they have already designed it in a way that it is very easy to use. It is very possible, and once you finish the scan, you can just share it to the expert or to the obstetrician or to the higher level midwife for them to interpret and provide appropriate care according to the findings that are found through that AI application that is doing ultrasound. So there are different ways of upgrading ourselves as midwives, and not only like going to the morning shift, night shift, evening shift, bedside teaching. You can actually do different things to ensure that you contribute to the body of knowledge, to make sure that you contribute to care for women, and then also to the profession as a profession itself. For Tanzania, I'm glad that as midwives, we have tried our best to advance professional recognition. As I've said earlier, that most of the time, due to our educational history, we normally do nursing and midwifery as an education, and then you can work as a nurse, you can work as a midwife. But now we have tried to expand the professional identity for midwives. So we have different programs for midwifery. We have a Bachelor of Science in Midwifery that have been coordinating for the past few years. And then we have masters in midwifery and women's health, and we also have PhD in midwifery as well as I'm speaking. And we are now designing in collaboration with the government to have higher diploma in midwifery, because like not everyone can do a degree, not everyone can do a master's. So for someone who has an ordinary diploma in nursing and midwifery, they can opt now to do a higher diploma in midwifery, and they become and they register them as midwives. So you can see like we have a number of areas which as midwives we can leverage on for us to be able to become competent and provide the care that is really needed. Yeah, so that's I think I can share for now, and I would welcome if there are any questions.
Thank you so much for your story and the wonderful insight you shared with us, because it really spanned into areas that are of great importance, especially when it comes to education. I feel like it's a problem that's also very present in Nigeria, for example, wherein there's no direct entry education into midwifery. They need to do nursing before they now pivot into midwifery. And the quality of education, midwifery education at that point is, I won't say distorted, but it's different. It's different. You know, we really need to structure educational programs that's fully centered around midwives, because the impact of it is felt in communities that do that assessment. Thank you so much for this. So we're going to welcome questions. If someone is having any question, please drop it in the comment section. I'm going to read it and then we'll have it answered. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you.
Right. We're waiting on the questions. We're waiting on the questions. All right. So
Sorry.
we are waiting on the questions from the chat. Presently, I can't see any questions. But while waiting, I might have my own question. Um, so you talked a lot about teenage pregnancy and adolescent health, and like throughout the conversation we have tonight, I feel like this is something that's been coming up over and over. Through your experience, you have you seen like there are some specific areas, still under adolescent health that needs to be addressed, maybe family planning or obstetrics? Like, are there some specific area that is like much more striking than others?
Sorry, you are breaking. I couldn't hear your question very well. Sorry.
Okay, so I was asking about adolescent health, because it's a very broad topic. It's a very broad topic. So are there any specific area in adolescent health that needs like specific area of focus, based on your experience, across your years and exposure to the community, and maybe the spaces you've been into, like one area of focus that is much more urgent, than others in under adolescent health that's
Oh, okay.
underlooked.
Okay. So for now, like adolescent is a group which is like it's in the middle. It's not, they are not children, they are not adults. So at some point we decided to design a program for nurses. We are planning to start a program actually on pediatric and adolescent health nursing master's program, which is under review, because we have noted that most of the time the adolescent group is mostly disadvantaged, because when you go to the pediatric wards, you find they admit maybe from 0 to 12 or 13 years in the pediatric ward. And sometimes you find now those adolescents, like from 11 to 13, they feel like they are no longer kids, they are misplaced. And then there is no nurse or any professional who is really conversant or comfortable to care for the adolescents. As we know, the changes they are going through, they are shy. Like, we should know how to communicate with them. We should know their special needs as a group of adolescents. So we find sometimes they feel like they are misplaced. And then again, coming to the adult wards, you find now from 14 to 17, they are admitted in the adult wards. They are admitted together with those who are having 30, 40 years and everything. And you find also again the providers in that adult wards, they are not competent or they are not conversant in how to support the adolescents. And worse enough, for those who are now becoming pregnant, it's even worse because they don't get adequate support from the providers because we don't have the capacities, we don't know how to really care for the adolescents according to the special needs that they have during the transition period that they are in. So we decided to design that program to equip nurses and midwives for them to be able now to care this special group of adolescents. So we hope maybe in the few 1 or 2 years the program will take off because now we are still in the approval process. Yeah.
That's so interesting. Yeah, and it's something I did not even look into, honestly. You really clearly differentiated that. We just associate them to different groups. Thank you so much for that. Let me check the chat. Mm. All right. Okay, so we don't have any questions. I don't know if you have like a word of encouragement to midwives or just a word to midwives that are listening today. Um,
Yeah, so for the midwives, I believe in every country we are going through the same challenges, professional recognition, and then issue of motivation for the midwives is limited or is very little. So for those who are aspiring to become midwives, they should not lose their focus. The satisfaction you get when you are able to support a woman and ensure that she has a safe delivery and have a safe live baby, that satisfaction itself, it's enough, I would say, and it keeps encouraging someone to really be able to keep on caring for the women. So if someone is aspiring to become a midwife, you should not be discouraged, you should not be distracted. I believe where we are now is not where we used to be before. So even in my country, we're still struggling for professional recognition, but I believe the time will come, we'll be able to be recognized as independent professionals. And the advantage is that for midwives, we are autonomous professionals compared to others. We can make decision as a midwife. You can make decision on how to proceed with the care of the woman without depending on the permission from someone else. We are autonomous. We can save lives because that is our duty to save lives. When we are looking at more than one life compared to a nurse, if you're in another ward, you are looking just to that particular patient. But when it comes to a midwife, you're looking for the mother and her baby, for the mother and her newborn. So we should not really be discouraged. And then in our profession, there is a lot of opportunities for us to be able to share our experience, to share our expertise, and to bring impact to the community itself. I can recall the way we used to have traditional birth attendants, the way they are respected in their communities, the way the community take them as special people. So also as a midwife, if you do your job well, if you are really competent, if you really support the women and respect them the way they're supposed to be respected, then you are also to earn the same respect that the traditional birth attendants have been earning. So we should not really give up, and we should also use an opportunity to be part of it's a professional association, it's a club that would really get you a network of people to learn from others, to be mentored for you to become the best midwife you can be. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us. All right, so we're going to move on with our segment, and we'll be inviting your co-speaker. Thank you so much, Doctor. We're so grateful.
Thank you. I would request to leave because it's already 10 p.m. in my country.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Madam Taiwo will do the meeting. All right, we're going to jump quickly into the last part of our webinar. Thank you for staying up till now. We're so grateful for you staying up till this level, and we're sure that you didn't lose by making that decision. So the last, conversation we're going to be having will be on transitioning into leadership, and the person that is going to be leading us for this is midwife Naluja Joseline, who is a clinical midwife at the Mulago Specialized Women and Neonatal Hospital, that's in Kampala in Uganda. An emerging health influencer and passionate women health advocates committed to improving maternal and newborn health outcomes through evidence-based practice. She has her input into National Midwife Association of Uganda, where she served as the general secretary, and also she is presently an executive sponsor with the International Confederation of Midwives, which is the governing body of midwives globally. So there is an ongoing program, and she happens to be one of these sponsors. And beyond the bedside, she's the founder of Career Boost Mentorship Program for midwives, a platform that's dedicated to career clarity, leadership growth, and purposeful service. And also, she's recognized as a strong voice for career-focused midwifery, women health advocacy, and transformative leadership, right? So this is the best fit to talk about transitioning into leadership. Over to you, Madam Joseline. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. So we might be having a little technical issue. So we're going to be talking a little bit while waiting Madam Naluja to join us on stage. We're going to have Madam Taiwo talk to us a little bit about Midwives Connect while waiting for her to join us, please. So we're going to do that very quickly. We're so sorry for the delay. The network wasn't the best. We have been struggling, and we're so grateful that um, you could really stay with us. So, Madam Taiwo, please can you talk to us about Midwives Connect?
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me now? I think you should hear me now, right?
Yes, we can hear you, Madam Taiwo.
You still cannot hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. We can hear you, Ma. Please.
All right. Thank you so much for that. So I want to welcome everyone to Midwives Connect and to this webinar. Thank you so much for your time. For those that have joined since we commenced, since 6 p.m., right? We spent over 2 hours, and I want to appreciate you for your time, for your patience, for sitting to listen to what we have to say. So, what is Midwives Connect all about? Midwives Connect comes from this passion to connect midwives together from different countries. The idea started with connecting midwives together in Nigeria as a midwife practicing in Nigeria. And from the webinar tonight, I discovered that the story seems to be the same everywhere. There's no good professional visibility for midwives. I think it's everywhere. In Nigeria, there is no direct career path for midwifery, and that gives me concern when I go on social media. I see student midwives complaining, like, why did they find themselves in midwifery? Some are already regretting going for midwifery. Some are already thinking of how to leave the profession. Even some that are in the profession, they are forced to be there. I decided to use that word forced because it's not as if it's what they want, but because they just have to find themselves so that they can progress in their career. And I feel this is not good enough, and that was why I thought of, okay, let's start Midwives Connect. And starting it, connecting with another midwife from Cameroon, Teres. I don't know, I'm sorry for pronouncing your name if wrongly. I saw that in Cameroon, I can see that midwifery is a little bit streamlined. They stand on their own. And if I want to give midwifery another, if I want to reposition midwifery in Nigeria, that means I need to bring in someone that has a little bit knowledge about midwifery so that we can share, okay, this is how midwifery is practiced in your country, this is how it is in my country, bring the ideas together, and by that we build a community of midwives. And in the last 6 months, we organized a webinar, Midwifery Compass, that brought up midwives from more than 12 countries. So this gives the insight that we can connect midwives from different countries, sharing ideas, getting insights from one another, and by that we tend to improve midwifery profession in our country. And that is what Midwives Connect is all about, bringing midwives together, interacting, connecting, sharing ideas, and improving one another. So there's a community which we have created, and we plan to bring a lot of things together that is going to be benefiting us. Our speaker, Dr. Beatrice, said something that using technology to empower midwives. That is what Midwives Connect will be doing. We're using technology to empower ourselves because we're going to be having some programs like this just to update our knowledge. And there are a lot of things that is going to be happening on the group to help to improve the impact that is going to be happening to us. And because of that, I call it a movement. Like, everybody is going to achieve something. So what is the vision that is guiding us? um we want a future midwife that is universally recognized as a versatile, indispensable leader. Like, if you are a member of Midwives Connect, you should be a leader wherever you find yourself, and you'll be a professional whose expertise is sought after, not only in hospitals but across healthcare system. Like, one of the speaker that we invited for the panel session, anywhere she goes, I love the way she carry midwifery. She carry midwifery as if it's her thing. Like, she wants everybody to see midwifery as a profession, as it is, and it brings dignity to the profession, right? So that is what we are trying to do, so that wherever you find yourself, people will see your impact. In not only It's not only in the labor room now. Midwife should be in policy spaces, we should be in technology, education, entrepreneurship, and even corporate consulting. And that is the kind of midwife that we want to build in Midwife Connect. And also the visual midwives, where midwives are confidently shaping policies, driving innovation, leading organization, influencing decisions, and transforming maternal and newborn health outcome locally and globally. So in this future, the midwife is no longer invisible. We want everybody to know midwifery as it's supposed to be, shaping the maternal health, improving maternal health outcome, not only the maternal health and even child health outcome. So we want a midwife that is heard, that is respected, that is consulted, and that is compensated accordingly. Because you can hear that from the previous speakers that midwifery are underpaid, and because of that, many people are leaving the profession because everybody wants to survive, right? So this webinar is not the end goal, it's a catalyst and is a starting point to reposition midwifery from just labor ward, let me say baby catcher, from just a service provider to a powerful, globally relevant professional, so that anywhere you find yourself, be proud to say, I am a midwife. Yes, and that is what midwifery, Midwives Connect is all about. So this webinar, the mission of the webinar is actually to inaugurate Midwives Connect, to let you know about Midwives Connect, so that be able to equip us for the rest of the year, be able to think strategically, and providing you with tools and some insights, which I believe we have gotten. In fact, from all the speakers that are speaking, I believe they've stirred your thoughts to do something beyond bedside, right? I believe they've given you some professional insights that will help you to accelerate your career. So, and I believe that the impact has been made. So the mission is about clarity, it's about direction, and it's about intentional growth. And I believe that we have gotten that in this webinar, where there's a pledge for us actually, or let me say, for me, if you can repeat it after me, it is better. I commit to see myself beyond my current role. Like currently, I'm a clinical midwife, so I commit myself to see myself beyond the clinical area. I commit to valuing my skills, my knowledge, and my lived experience. I commit to continuous growth, learning, and leadership. I commit to using my voice to advocate for women. I'm already doing that anyways. To advocate for newborns and to advocate for midwifery, which we're already doing now. And I commit to collaboration, not competition with fellow midwives, but to collaborate with them to improve maternal health outcome. And I personally, Taiwo Blessing Adesri, I commit to repositioning midwifery in Nigeria and beyond. So this is who we are at Midwives Connect. We gladly have you join us so that we can do more impact together and will I say promote midwifery profession. So once again, I want to welcome you all, and I want to know that this webinar is not just all those webinar. I just want to attend. I just want to mark attendance, but I want this webinar to take you to your next step, like to take you to another dimension in your profession. Thank you, everyone, for your time and for your attention. We have a lot of things on ground for Midwives Connect. If you join our community, you're going to be learning more about Midwives Connect. But meanwhile, let me just tell you a little part of it that maybe we interest you to join our community. We are having an e-library where you can come and get materials to impact you, not only in midwifery, generally, like that is going to improve your leadership skills, that is going to improve your career and every other area of life. So we look forward to seeing you. We look forward to seeing you joining us at Midwives Connect. Thank you so much, everyone. Once again, I want to appreciate you for your time and all our speakers for their patience. Some of them have been with us since the beginning of the program tonight. I really commend them, and I want to appreciate you all too for joining us, for staying till this time. Thank you so much once again. And our moderator, Teris. Teris is the co-founder. I'm not the only one that founded Midwives Connect. I'm sorry, I should have said it before. Teris is also a co-founder. So we both bring the idea of this Midwives Connect together. So over to you, Teris. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So we may be like the two people that are on this webinar, but there's a whole team behind. There's a whole community behind. Like this webinar, for example, was powered by the feedbacks from our previous webinar. That's the midwifery compass. So the level of insights we're getting here is purely your feedbacks. You know, that's why we say this community is for midwives with midwives, and it's very important. It matters a lot to us. So Madam Taiwo, please, could you check um the chat, please? Okay. So, she spoke about a few things, but the community is going to be working a lot around resources, providing educational resources for midwives because it's very scarce, especially in an African context and in low and middle income, resource countries. We're going to be doing mentorship programs and we are going to be doing accountability program. This year is essentially going to be centered around course review programs, and one of the programs we want to be the courses, sorry, we want to be reviewing this year is a new course on postpartum hemorrhage by the World Health Organization. So if you're joining us tonight, probably by next month we should be having that course reviewed all together. Accountability program, because together it's much more better. And by next year, we're going to be launching a mentorship program and the possibility to connect and network with midwives across the world. We talk about the importance of networks. So these are some of the pillars of the associate of the community. Sorry, and you're all welcome. We'll be sharing the link to join the community in the chat. So yeah, Madam Taiwo is going to do so, please. All right. Um, All right. So, thank you so much for being with us up till now. We're a lot out of time. So, at the moment, we're having our guest that will not be able to join us tonight. For some reason that will be beyond her control. So if you have your question, feel free to drop them in the comments even after the live is going to turn off. Um, so this is one of the reasons why we decided to do the live, so that midwives afterwards can have access to these recording. This is a huge investment, not just in your time, but also in terms of finances. So thank you so much for having you. So this is going to be the end of our webinar for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us across the globe. And it was a pleasure having you all. Thank you. Bye. Have a good evening. We pray that the rest of your day should be well spent.
Amen. Bye bye. Bye everyone.
Bye. We're going to send the link to join the community in the comments. Don't be worried, you can put the link now. It will be under the video, and you can come watch the video after, because if you had network issues and maybe some struggles joining, so you can the record is going to be provided to you free, here on YouTube, so that you're going to consult on your leisure time.
Hello. Service, can you hear me, please? Confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Yes, there's a question in the comment section.
Okay, let me get that, please. Okay. So there's a question coming from Owusu, probably from Nigeria. Her question is, in delivering community-based antenatal care services, how did you go about it? There is a town that isn't part of our catchment area, but they come with so many complications. I guess will not be able to talk about this on the live. You can get to either of us directly. We are on LinkedIn. You can just we're going to send you the link to the community as well. You know, when you're inside, just text any of the community admin, and then we are going to chat from there, please. Thank you so much for this question. Okay, is that okay? You could just say like right. So bye everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
Right.
All right. Good night. Good night. Thank you.